All right, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachakorash, to honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim. Walk in learning, teaching in truth and sincerity. All right, give me 1 second. All right, now this article has been out for, a couple days, but there's something I just wanted to cover it. It looks like they updated it. It says they did an update on it yesterday, March 18th at 12:40. And I saw the brother from Hawaii had mentioned something with this article, because actually, it's funny. This article, now it says Dead Sea Scrolls discoveries are first ancient Bible text to be found in 60 years. Now we understand that the scriptures were put together by Hebrew Israelites, but as you're reading, you're going to come to find out that these scrolls were written in Greek. Why? Because you had Greek-speaking Israelites, which is what the brother was focusing on in his portion of the video, the brother Yahweh out of Hawaii. But what I want to focus on with this video is the fact that this man snitched on himself. Once again, how old is the earth? How long has humanity been here? Once again, this man snitched on himself, y'all. If he went on to say something that says this 10,500-year-old basket was also discovered in a 6,000-year-old mummified child. Now he's going to make a statement concerning this basket, and that's what I'm going to scroll down to actually. Now we're going to come up and read all the some other parts of this article, but I want to scroll down to this right here. I'm going to highlight this. This man is snitching on himself. Here it is. Now I thought, if we're going to go according to evolutionists, you have the cavemen, the half man, half ape motherfuckers that had spears and rocks. So let's read this. This is off this article. It says, also uncovered was a 6,000-year-old skeleton of a partially mummified child and a 10,500-year-old basket, which Israeli authorities said could be the oldest basket in the world. Wait a minute. How could that be the oldest basket? I thought we've been around for however so many thousands of millions of years. You mean to tell me we didn't figure out how to make a basket until 10,000 years ago? All right, so he dropped the I don't whether Esau realized it or not. He dropped the ball on that. He wasn't supposed to if this is the oldest basket in the world, potentially that means that we haven't been around as long as his science says. So he slipped up. And when you go to the scriptures, now we're somewhere around the 12,000 some year and some change. So, and when you read in Genesis, man came about the 5th day. All right, so humanity, we're 7,000 years old and some change, ballparking. I'm not saying exactly to the nose. So this basket, I'll say that it's probably not 10,000 because we had to be there to make the basket, but I'll put it closer in between. This could be a basket made by some of the original motherfuckers walking around, or it could just been a basket that Jake made somewhere in the middle of Israel. But Esau just loves to mix up his numbers. But I'm just going to show you how them stating that this could be one of the oldest baskets shows you that we hadn't been here for millions of hundreds and billions and jillions of years. You mean to tell me the cavemen didn't have baskets then? How the hell did they hold shit? The food that they hunted with their spears. Where did they put their weapons at? All right. And dealing with that 6,000-year-old child, how come have we not found older children or bones older than that? Once again, hey, he's starting to get sloppy with it, y'all. Now I'm gonna read it. It says a new set of Dead Sea Scrolls, ancient fragments of biblical texts dating back almost 2,000 years, and thought to have been hidden during a Jewish revolt against Rome, have been found in an Israeli desert. The Israel Antiquities Authority announced Tuesday that a 4-year archaeological project uncovered portions of the Book of the 12 Minor Prophets, including the books of Zechariah and Nahum. It was the first such discovery in 60 years. Once again, if the Bible didn't exist, how could you go dig this stuff up? Hey, y'all, it's getting to the point, man. If you don't believe, you just a fool. If you don't believe, you're believing in a lie. If you don't believe in the scriptures and the creation story of Genesis and everything of how the Heavenly Father explains history and the creation in the Bible, then you're just simply choosing to believe BS. All right, and that's what many people are choosing to do. Let's go to Psalms, a goody go-to. All right, Psalms 14, and what we got? Psalms 14:1. It says, The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. All right, so you have to be a fool to not believe in these scriptures, to not believe in a higher power. There's too much evidence even still remaining on this planet outside of faith, because ultimately we're supposed to have faith. We don't need this to prove who we are and that what we're saying is true, but these things help back up our points. The earth helps prove who we are when you go digging deep enough. All right, the basket in situ, absolute dummy, dry snitched on themselves. All right, let's go to, so I'm going to read down. It says, among the recovered texts, which are all in Greek, is Nahum 1, 5-6, which says, the mountains quake because of him, and the hills melt. The earth heaves before him, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before his wrath? Who can resist his fury? His anger pours out like fire, and his rocks shatter because of him. And we'll actually go and read it in King James Version to see what it says. All right, but notice right here it says, which were all in Greek. So why would Israelites be doing anything in Greek? Why? Because they were taken over by Greeks and Romans, all right, Hellenized, all right. So once again, further backing up our point, the fact that you would have had Israelites that were living in a Greekish and or Roman lifestyle, all right, although they were speaking Greek, although they may have called themselves Greek by nationality, bloodline, they were Israelites, all right. So this helps knock out two balls out the park, all right. And you can come, and I'll leave the link for this article, you can read through it. Basically, they go into the fact that they haven't found anything like this since over 60 years. I'm going to read this. It says, the first set of Dead Sea Scrolls to be discovered were found by a Bedouin shepherd in the same area in 1947 and are considered among the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century, although biblical scholars disagree on the authorship. All right, and you know what? This isn't the first find since 1960 because there's a problem. This is because Esau wouldn't stop looking. He kept getting butthurt. All right, this man knows who we are, and the more you dig in this mug, you're gonna find out. You're gonna see more of us. And he kept getting butthurt. He didn't want to keep finding more evidence that we are the true children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, let's go to Nahum 1 and 5. I just want to read it out of the King James Version. There we go. It says, the mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yeah, the world and all that dwell therein. Hey, when the Heavenly Father makes his appearance in his great chariot, that's the result of this. All right. When you go back to Exodus, that's literally what the earth did. The mountain shook. All right. Mount Sinai, the top of it melted and it burned. All right. The Heavenly Father, this is the power that he travels with. So we have to fear him. And it's just more evidence showing that this what we believe in is true, y'all. This is not a fucking joke in the slightest. There are people who went and bled and died to stuff them scrolls and hide them and ran back to go out to fight against the Romans. All right, it tells you, let me see, because this was a revolt apparently. So they went and hid it. They was in the middle of fighting Romans. They said, man, we got to hide this. We can't let these MFers get this. All right, our ancestors bled and died for this, y'all. All right, it says, let me come down. It says, other items include a cache of coins bearing Jewish symbols, including a harp and a date palm, arrowheads and spearheads, woven fabric, sandals, and lice combs. All thought to date from the end of the Bar Kokhba revolt, 132 through 136 AD, in which Jews fought against Roman rule in Judea. So this was still, now that would have still been us in the land, because 70 AD, basically, we were the last of us that was still alive, was still trying to hold it down. All right, not to any avail, because look where we all ended up ultimately. All right, but this was us trying to fight off that Roman rule. All right, the nickname of that cave is called the Cave of Horror down here, if you can see, and the Cave of Horror in the Judean desert. All right, this was, we bled for that, man. This is our heritage, y'all, and we don't let nobody convince us otherwise. Don't let no man tell you otherwise. Let me see. I'm trying to see what else we got in here. All right, let me see. All right, and so, here we go. I found the video. What I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna let the brother just take over. I'm gonna let it play off of him. And now this is the video. I'll leave the link to the video and the link to the article I was reading, but the video discussing it is right here in the middle. It says new artifacts changed our picture of ancient Israel. All right, now I'm gonna let the brother speak. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted and they don't take it down. All right, so
Israel's, or chiefly the house of Judah, experienced after 70 AD and during the time of Hadrian the emperor. All right, and it also mentions that they found the name of the Heavenly Father in an ancient Hebrew. And then also, too, they start talking about the Gentiles. They start basically saying that the Greek language back then was like English. Okay, showing you that those Greek-speaking Israelites spoken about in the New Testament are who the Lord was speaking, who Paul was speaking to, who the apostles were dealing with later on after Peter was dealing with Cornelius, man. All right, and so that's why you had things like in Galatians 3:28, where it says there's neither, I think it's neither slave nor bond. Let me get that real quick, Salakia.
yeah. So basically, you know, this helps prove the fact that we're correct, y'all. You had Israelites that spoke Greek. All right, now I'm gonna fast forward to where he plays the clip. Let's see.
We're all the same.
Shore of the Dead Sea. The latest fragments include the ancient Hebrew text for God and Greek translations of the book of Zechariah, including one fragment reading, "These are the things you are to do. Speak the truth to one another, render true and perfect justice in your gates." Orrin Abelman, a Dead Sea Scroll researcher with the Israel Antiquities Authority, said the fragments give researchers another view into the cultural world of the Jewish rebels during this time in history.
Many times these rebels are thought to be specifically very nationalistic Hebrew-speaking Jews.
And what he means by nationalistic Hebrew-speaking Jews, the fact that they didn't, you know, they thought, okay, well, they didn't know. They were Israel, like even how we are now, y'all. You know, we, as much as we hate this place, as much as we hate Esau, Edom, we're still speaking this man's language. We still have to put on their attire and clothes. And Jake had to do the same thing back then. We just knew who we were, and we were trying to separate and fight around it. All right, but the difference is now we're not trying to fight because we understand that the Lord Yahushua is going to come back and separate us, you know, fully pull us out of this system in every sense of the word. All right, so yes, you had Israelites that were Hebrew, that practiced their Hebrew Israelite customs, that prayed to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, all right, that acknowledged the Heavenly Father and His Son. All right, it had been 100 some years since the Lord was on the scene. All right, but they still spoke Greek. All right, they still may have spoken Latin. They had to go they had to go trade. They had to go buy shit here and there. All right, so they would have learned things about the society. All right, but once again, hey, this is Esau. The more this man finds stuff, the more it just proves the fact that he's been fucking lying. That's why he doesn't. That's why he didn't want to go dig up nothing for the last 60 years.
But what we see here is that they also spoke Greek, that they read in Greek,
Yep.
and that they had their scriptures in Greek sometimes. Greek was kind of the common language of the time, like kind of a bit like English is an international language today.
And that shows you that those Gentiles, those Greek-speaking Gentiles in the New Testament are Israelites.
Yep.
Why would they have the scriptures in Greek? Why? Because you had Israelites that only spoke and read it in Greek.
Yep.
And you had Israelites that spoke and read in ancient Hebrew, man.
Yeah, so,
but
hey,
this just shows you proof.
Yeah, that puts together that, you know. So Esau double snitched on himself. The earth ain't that old, and we're the Israelites, you know. So hey, you big sloppy nigga, you swung twice and fell and tripped and fell. Right here, Job 12:8. Or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. All right, I could have started up at 7, but yeah, hey, the earth is speaking, you know. Looking out for us, rubbing it in these devils' faces just a little bit more before we go home, you know. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bahashim Rchachorash, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, walk with them, learning, teaching in truth and sincerity. And I'm gonna say Shalom.